Hello and welcome to the Boat Show. Today we're in Genoa, Italy, on a very hot and sticky day at the TANKOA shipyard for the launch of its latest super yacht, 72-meter Solo, designed inside and out by Francesco Paczkowski. For the next few weeks following the launch, from the dry dock behind me, the yacht will stay here tied up at the dock for finishing, but will be ready for her international debut at the Monaco Yacht Show at the end of September. Solo is TANKOA's third launch to date, following on from 69-meter Suerte and 50-meter Vertige. But it's an interesting project, insofar as this yacht started as an existing hull and superstructure. In fact, Solo was a sister ship to Suerte, and building started over a decade ago when the shipyard was founded. But sadly, they ran into difficulties with the financial crisis in 2008. The shipyard approached Michel Cassanti, an experienced yachting consultant and now sales director at the shipyard. He suggested redesigning the exterior profiles and the layouts to bring them more up to date. And the plan worked. Both yachts sold. Solo in 2016, incidentally to the same owner, but not at the same time.
The original boat that was designed by Francesco was designed 10 years ago at the inception of TANKOA with the market expectations of 10 years ago. The crisis happened by the time the market got back on track. The design was kind of outdated and we had to put it back to a certain level where it could be sold and appealing to clients, and that's what we did.
Quando è stata pensata da 65 metri, ma con un potenziale di sviluppo a 70-75.
It was first designed to a length of 65 meters, but with a potential development to 70 or 75 meters. So it was very straightforward to add the 5 meters aft, although we changed the lines by adding a lot more curves to the original design, which was based on vertical surfaces and a more North European look.
And we don't want to be too extreme. We see some extreme boats that are spectacular when they're launched, and 2 years later they look weird on the water.
Su Solo abbiamo scelto di lavorare anche sulle murate nella parte sovrastruttura.
On Solo, we worked a lot on the sides, especially the upper part, to give more emphasis to the superstructure and the windows, also to increase their surface area for better visibility when you're inside the yacht.
C'è la zona sole.
Then there's the Sunday, where we made more use of the area around the smokestack, and we worked on the aft area to create a pool at the owner's request as a sort of in-the-water sofa.
Un altro intervento importante l'abbiamo fatto sulle falchette perché abbiamo utilizzato il vetro.
Another important thing we did was add glass inserts into the bulwarks in a much more marked manner than on Sirte.
Un'altra richiesta invece è stata quella dell'armatore di avere una piscina sua privata in quella che era prima, nel primo layout, la timoneria, invece è diventata cabina armatoriale. Lui può uscire.
A further request from the owner was to have a pool for his private use in front of what had been the wheelhouse in the first design, but is now the owner's suite with a door on each side to access the private hot tub, as well as 2 relaxation areas with sofas hidden behind the bulwarks. So he's in his own private niche. These are the major areas we touched on.
It's the end of September and we're at the Monaco Yacht Show, less than 2 months after the launch of TANKOA's 72-meter Solo. Following intensive sea trials, the yacht's making her international debut here, and we're very lucky today to be able to talk to Margherita Casprini, who together with Francesco Paczkowski designed the interior of Solo.
On this project, we led the owner by the hand, with Francesco dealing mainly with the exteriors, and me for the final choice of interior furniture and materials. So the end product is really the result of teamwork.
C'è stato anche un forte contributo da parte dell'armatore, che è sempre una fortuna.
There was a significant contribution from the owner, which is always welcome, because when you have an owner who gives you guidelines on what he wants for the interior in terms of the layout, the colour palette and the choice of materials, the journey becomes a lot less difficult.
He is a hyperactive entrepreneur, fairly young, in his very early 50s, workaholic. He loves the entrepreneur spirit, he loves the creation, he loves to bring ideas and new ideas. He doesn't have time to use the boat. Sure, he loves to be on the boat, but mainly he wants to see the finished product after having worked on the project for 2, 3, 4 years.
Il suo primo suggerimento è stato...
His first request was that he wanted a dark boat, and I mean black, not dark brown. But at the same time it had to be cosy and welcoming.
Allora, i legni che abbiamo utilizzato principali sono 3, 2 sono roveri, trattati in maniera...
So there are 3 principal woods. 2 are oak, treated in a very natural way and darkened to arrive at shades very close to black, but to different degrees, so one is slightly lighter than the other.
E abbiamo conservato...
We were also careful to retain a natural tactile feel to the woodwork.
Il terzo è un ebano macassar che però abbiamo
The
trattato...
third wood is Macassar ebony, which we treated in such a way as to make the normally brown veining grey to better match the black tones, and which we then gave 100% gloss finish, so it's very shiny.
Insieme a questo abbiamo inserito nel progetto parti tessili e più morbide, non solo come colorazioni che quindi sono state...
To this we added the textiles and fabrics that are cozier, not only with regard to the colours, which are softer but still quite cool, but also in terms of their visual impact and to the touch.
I marmi sono stati anch'essi importanti nella scelta.
The marbles were also very important in the design process, and we have an antique noir, which is an opaque black with white veining.
Abbiamo un marmo cappuccino molto striato.
We have a cappuccino marble with streaks that go from shades of brown and grey to butter.
E poi abbiamo l'onice, in parte...
And then we have onyx, partly backlit, which is very precious and contrasts with the black.
Le parti più comfort della barca, le parti più notte.
The comfiest parts of the boat, namely the cabins, have been treated with more softness. So whereas in the daytime convivial areas, the trim has a metallic finish, we turn to soft fabric finishes in the cabins.
La barca è destinata e pensata per charter. Già il layout svela questa cosa. Ci sono
The boat is designed and destined for charter, and the layout reveals this vocation, as there are spaces specifically designed to accommodate charter guests,
certamente
satisfying the tastes not only of a single person, but of a wider target group certainly isn't all that simple.
Quindi il numero di cabine, i servizi, l'hotellerie.
So the number of cabins, the crew services, the hotel facilities and the galley must be perfectly implemented.
Perché? Perché ha bisogno di un servizio ristorante che...
Because the restaurant service has to run constantly 3 times a day.
L'equipaggio deve poter vivere il bordo con una semplicità maggiore rispetto alle altre barche, proprio perché...
And the crew must be able to function on board more efficiently because they're moving around all day. So you have to study how the stairs work, how they get from bow to stern. All these functions take priority over design considerations. So you could say functionality takes precedence over imagination.
Uno dei materiali protagonisti della barca è il cuoio naturale.
Another primary material is natural leather, which in this case is ivory in colour, stitched and worked to create a movement on along the edges that creates an effect of being both more solid and more sinuous at the same time.
Questo signore è stato realizzato da Dario Tironi, un artista giovane italiano.
This gentleman was created by Dario Tironi, a young Italian artist who creates these figures using everyday pieces of scrap plastic.
Ma riesce a dare
But he manages to give them a realistic shape and substance that I find curious and interesting. Above all because the bright colours contrast so well with the absence of colour in the rest of the yacht.
I bronzi invece che ci sono.
The bronzes in the two lobbies, on the other hand, are the work of Matteo Puglese, another young Italian artist.
E l'ultimo artista importante Ugo Riva.
And the last major artist is Ugo Riva, whose angel sculpture is positioned at the entrance of the boat to welcome the guests.
Let's just recap some of Solo's main specifications. She's 72 meters overall, with a maximum beam of 11.6 meters. 1,600 gross tons, which is a measurement of her interior volume, and a top speed of 17.5 knots. At max speed, she has a range of 3,000 nautical miles, but that increases to an incredible 7,000 nautical miles. That's the equivalent of crossing the Atlantic twice at an economical speed of 10 knots.
TANKOA is this kind of alternative where we deliver North European quality, very high specification, a perfectly engineered product. We're above the price of most other Italian shipyards, but we're still a lot less than Northern Europe. So if you take a boat like Solo, for instance, in the standard specification, we have things like, technically, paperless bridge, boning integrated bridge, soot burners for the generators. That means that you open the beach club, you open the terraces, you're at anchor. With the venturi effect, the air flows naturally into the beach club. You will have no soot, you will have no smell. And that's important. And we have catalytic carbon filters for the main engines. We have 4 fins with 2 independent hydraulic groups. So if you lose one, you still have 2 fins functioning. Because again, when the boat leaves, basically, we want a happy client.
Il cantiere ci ha messo tutto l'impegno perché potesse venire.
The shipyard made every effort so that we could end up with a very different product compared to those we are used to seeing in Italian and even North European yacht building.
Se non ci fosse la forza
If there had not been the same level of commitment and the fun we had along the way, this adventure would have been a lot more difficult.
We are new in terms of brand, but not new in yacht construction. I mean, it's in our DNA for a long, long time.
I successi dei cantieri li fanno le persone.
The success of a shipyard is created by people. When you have the right team behind you, you see the difference in the product immediately. And if you have any conflict, you see that in the product too.
I spend my life traveling around the world, seated with clients. I understand what they want and what they don't want. You know, it takes years and years and years to get a client seated with us, to get a client to commit to build a boat. It takes one wrong move to lose that client forever.
Having seen something of Solo, both inside and out, and having spoken with the designers, you might be excused for thinking that the yacht is perfect in every way and ready for delivery to her owner. Well, with most shipyards, that would be the case, but not with TANKOA, because in this case, they're competing with yards in Northern Europe, in Holland and Germany in terms of quality. And almost perfect is not enough. So immediately after the show, the yacht will return to the shipyard in Genoa to undergo the final fine-tuning to make sure that the yacht really is perfect in time for delivery to her owner.